Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday, and thank you so much for coming in to watch this video. We have a lot of topics to cover today. Obviously, Bitcoin was doing really well today. The miners not so much, maybe just some taking profits today. But we'll take a look at what's going on there. We'll also take a look at a couple of stories that we do have here. Cleanspark growing some more. Hut 8 building out infrastructure, which is kind of nice to see, but it's kind of a little bit mixed message there. We'll see what we have. And then we got Riot as well. A lot of news stories from Riot. They're also buying some machines to replace some older miners, and they're also out doing other things that we have to talk about. So there's a lot to talk about. Chapter's gonna be down below for you guys as always. And as always, you guys know the drill here, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research and invest in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And then corrections will be posted to Discord, which is through Patreon, YouTube community posts, and obviously Twitter as well. If there's any mistakes, we'll get those updated as soon as we can. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets here as far as what Bitcoin did. Bitcoin, like I said, had a really good day today. It was up another 4.66%. So it closed at 57,077, which is nice here. Our resistance line seems to be right around a little bit above that. So 57,500 roughly, right around there. We did come close to breaching. Well, we did breach it here slightly. If we look at the chart here, we see that we came close to it right around 6 o'clock in the morning. Then we tried to go above it again, and this was right around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This was on Central Standard Time, I believe. And after that, we started to fall back down here on price. So 57,500 or so is our resistance right now. Our support is at 53,700 roughly. And if this doesn't hold, obviously, we might be coming back down to that support line, which is around 53,700. And that wouldn't be so bad, right? We need a little bit of pullback here. I think that would be healthy if it does happen, but you never know with Bitcoin. We could continue to go back up. And at that point, our next support line or resistance line would be at 61,000, right? So we're getting pretty close to our all-time high, which was like 69,000 back in 2021, which is really surprising considering that I don't think we've ever done this in prior cycles where we breached the previous all-time high before the halving. It's usually been after the halving. So with that being said, I think it's the spot Bitcoin ETF that's having a huge impact, obviously, on the price of Bitcoin right now, which is definitely pushing it up. So we'll see where it goes. We still have like 50 days left before the halving event. So we do have quite a bit of time here. Okay, but the miners, like I said, the miners were down for the most part. There were a couple that were up just a little bit here. They did start out really good in the morning, but then things kind of trickled out a little bit as the day wore on. One that I want to mention here is Cores. Cores was up 10%. That's the only one that was up double digits. Everything else was either up to single digits or down actually single digits as well. And you can see all that, so I'm not going to get into it here. Surprisingly, one thing I wanted to note was obviously Riot is down 3.28% today. And plus with the news that came out, I was surprised that that was down. I thought that would be up actually on the news here, but there might be some misunderstandings, I think, some of the reporting that they have done here recently. So we'll get into that as well. And then Hut 8 was up a little bit here today as well, right? We're going to cover them. And then Cleanspark was up also 2.65%. So them, along with Marathon and like Stronghold for whatever reason, were the best along with Argo. Okay, so that's it for those. Let's get into the stories that we do have here, and then we'll call it a day. So first one at bat here is Cleanspark. So Cleanspark exceeds 15 exahash, completes acquisition of Mississippi Bitcoin mining data centers. So this is great news. Operations have already commenced at the 3 sites with an expected hash rate of 2.4 exahash once fully loaded with S21s. And then today, obviously announced it has completed the acquisition of the 3 Bitcoin mining data centers in Mississippi, effective February 26. Initial operations have already begun, boosting the company's operating hash rate to over 15 exahash per second. So that's great. I don't know how much they installed there, but I'm guessing they were at like 14 exahash prior to this, the last time they reported. So maybe they did get a 1 exahash installed there relatively quickly. So that's actually really good news there. If we look at Cleanspark here really quick, we can see on their numbers here, where is it at? For February, we're going to have potentially, I'm guessing, they're saying the 21s, right? So I'm guessing these are the S21s that are being installed here. And I have these from April. I don't know if it really matters. It could be these, probably could be like these 3 tranches here that we have from January, February, and March potentially that are getting installed here to get us to that. But that's kind of what I did. I just kind of installed 1 exahash here, which is based on this. And that got us to the 15 exahash that they said they're over, right? So that's great news there. They were at, well, basically in January last month, they were at 10 exahash. So that's basically a 50% increase in hash rate in just 1 month if they can pull this off. Well, they already pulled it off. There's still a couple of days left. We got 2 days left in the month. We'll see if they can install anything else into it. But that's obviously fantastic growth there for them. And that's why the stock has been doing really well here recently. And then they're obviously trying to get to, I believe, 20 exahash by the end of the first half. So they still have a ways to go, that another 5 exahash to get plugged in there. Okay. And they might be able to get that done even before the end of the first half. So we'll see. So this is all good news for Cleanspark, and that's why the stock has been doing really well. Okay, next here is going to be Hut 8. So Hut 8 commences construction of new digital asset mining site in Culberson County, announces new treasury strategy. So there's 2 things going on here, but there's one thing missing. And that missing part is obviously mining machines. But here's picture number 1. Excuse me. Hut 8 is building a new site in Culberson County, Texas for 40% less than the cost of buying a turnkey site. Expected to come online in Q2. The site is expected to have up to 3.6 exahash of self-mining capacity. Based on the site that we're seeing here, I'm guessing they're going to be putting in just those cube-tainers or the shipping container type operations, which are relatively quick and easy to install, right? You're not pouring foundations and things like that to put them in, install them. And just you bring in a cube-tainer and then you fill it up with machines and you're good to go. So that's how they might be able to get to having this operational by the end of Q2, sometime in Q2 at least. Okay, so 63 megawatt site planned to be energized in Q2 will be Hut 8's newest North American mining operation, so that's great. Site expected to have up to approximately 3.6 exahash of self-mining capacity. So that's good news there, and then here's the details. So the Culberson County site creates, and I have this in obviously in a different highlight optionality, right? For the company to expand its self-mining fleet or to transition existing self-mining activity from Granbury, Texas and Kearney, Nebraska to this site. So I think these are the 2 sites where they were managing, hosting, and having some of their miners installed in there as well. And then Marathon bought those 2 facilities out and they're basically getting kicked out. So I think, I'm guessing here, majority of those machines are probably going to be swapped out from over those facilities into this new facility, which kind of makes sense. And then if they have room, they're obviously going to maybe extend that, but it doesn't sound like it. So we'll have to see. Okay, the site is expected to have up to approximately 3.6 exahash of self-mining capacity if current generation miners are deployed. So they're probably talking about like the S21s, the T21s, or the S21s. And that one. Going down here, Asher Gunit is quoted as saying, "Our in-house development team enables us to build quickly and cost-effectively. Compared to the benchmark of approximately 460,000 per megawatt set by recent acquisitions in the area." This is where they're talking about, obviously, Marathon, excuse me, buying the 2 facilities. Our all-in cost to design and build the Culberson County site is expected to be less than 270,000 per megawatt. This represents a savings of more than 40%, or approximately 18.5 million in upfront development costs per every 100 megawatts of expansion. For the Culberson County site specifically, this means that we can expect to build a site for 17.3 million or less instead of the approximately 29 million. So that's good, right? They're being pretty frugal with their money, which is good. The company has also formally enacted a new treasury strategy that provides for the use of Bitcoin held in reserves to build balance sheet value and finance growth initiatives. Bitcoin held in reserve may be deployed through direct sales, option strategies, or other approaches. The strategy is designed to enhance the company's ability to execute strategic initiatives, increase its operating scale, and optimize metrics such as energy cost and cost to mine Bitcoin. Decision to utilize Bitcoin held in reserve will be made on a case-by-case basis. The company will use this strategy to fund capital expenditures for the Culberson County site, which is good. And we've heard Sue come on before, not on my videos or anything like that. I don't do interviews, but she's obviously said it on other channels that she's done interviews with, like McNally Money and Anthony. And then we've also had her on the Twitter Spaces over the last weekend here on Sunday. And she said basically the same thing, that they're looking to possibly use that HODL that they have to fund growth, things like that. So that's actually pretty good there. And then as we head into the halving, we anticipate that distressed assets will become available at favorable valuations and create opportunities for further growth. And we're hearing that from quite a few companies as well. We're hearing that from Marathon, we're hearing it from Riot, we're hearing it, well, maybe not so much Riot, but we are hearing it from Marathon, we're hearing it from Cleanspark as well, and possibly some other ones as well that are in the space that are looking to grow relatively quickly here. So, with the halving coming up, it's going to be really interesting to see how things play out, because if Bitcoin continues to go up in value like it has, I don't know if there's going to be any distressed assets at that point, because if Bitcoin's above 69, 70,000, at that point, there might be not really any facilities that are going to be distressed at that point. I think the miners might be able to survive if Bitcoin continues to go up that much. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Okay, but that's it for Hut 8 here. Let's get into Riot. So Riot purchases 31,500 miners from MicroBT to enhance and expand self-mining operations at its Rockdale facility. As you're aware, Rockdale facility is the one that is plagued with, well, I wouldn't say outages. It's plagued with curtailment a lot of times, right? They're operating like 60, 70% uptime at most, even sometimes worse during the summer times. So, but they do get power credits, but sometimes not enough power credits to offset what they could have been actually mining, okay? So there's two sides of that. But here's what we do have here. Here is their new projected growth strategy. So Q2 2024, they're supposed to get to 21.4 exahash, and you got Corsicana and additional growth here at 7.7 exahash. And then you got 1.3 Rockdale expansion supposed to increase with the basically swap out some of the older miners as well. And then you can see their projected growth here through the second half of 2025. So basically almost 2 years out, right? We still got all 2024 to go through, and then we have 2025 as well. So it's still a long ways out. So Riot strengthens its self-mining operations by purchasing 31,500 watts miners, M60Ss, miners from MicroBT. This strategic investment replaces underperforming machines, boosts mining efficiency, and adds additional hash rate capacity at the Rockdale facility. Okay, so we know that at that site, they do have some older miners that are like the 90 terahash miners, and it looks like they're going to be swapping out majority of those. I don't think it's going to be all of them based on what they're reporting here, but majority of those are going to be replaced, which is good. Going down here, let's see here. Order is for 31,000, like we talked about. Combined total of 5.9 exahash, purchased for 97.4 million, equating to approximately $16.5 per terahash, which is actually pretty good. And then approximately 14.5 of those 1,000 miners is in this order will be, approximately 14,500 miners in this order will add to self-mining capacity. There we go. The remaining 17,000 will replace currently underperforming miners at Riot's Rockdale facility. So that's where they're talking about replacing some of the older miners, which I'm guessing are going to be the 90 terahash miners that are in there. And then all miners will be deployed at the Rockdale facility, increasing the company's hash rate capacity at this facility to 15.1 exahash by the end of July 2024. So that would be going into basically like almost the third quarter there. In combination with hash rate growth at the new Corsicana facility, Riot's new 2024 year-end hash rate is now targeted at 31 exahash. I think originally they were supposed to get to, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think they were supposed to get to like 38 exahash by the end of the year. I'd have to look back at some of the other charts that they provided us, but I think that's kind of where we were supposed to get to, maybe 30 exahash. So this might be a little bit of an increase there. Okay, and that just goes into the details there. So let's take a look at the numbers that I do have here for them on this part of thing. If we look at their numbers here on the miners, I added in these miners that they reported. Where is it at? I did it here someplace. 15,000, here they are, right there. So it's these miners over here. So 15,750 in two tranches. Basically, it said May and June is when they're going to be delivered. And that's going to give them 186 terahash, which is what they reported. Those are going to be at 3,441 watts based on the joules per terahash efficiency that they reported. And that's going to give them the 5.9 exahash roughly. Okay, so that all makes sense, right? 5.9 exahash. Do we have that right? 5.9. Yep. So that's that. Okay, so those are obviously going to be coming in here relatively soon within the next couple months. And then based on this, I think they're going to be getting rid of, like I said, all of these 90 terahash miners here, which at this point, if they're having to curtail because of their PPA agreement, which they only have for like 345 megawatts, at that point, if they're paying standard going rate for electricity, which might be, I don't know, in Texas, 10, 12 cents, whatever it might be at any given time, those might not be obviously that profitable, but with price of Bitcoin going up, they should be a little profitable. But I can see the reason for them wanting to switch these out, which makes sense, right? These are the least efficient miners that they have right now, so it does make sense to get those out. And the only way I could calculate this is by taking out all of these, and then obviously the ones here that are marked in like the orange with a line across them. So then that would leave us with still quite a few of the older machines here possibly still being in there. That leaves us with about 12,000, unless those have been already switched over to something else. And then the ones in yellow here are the ones that were supposed to be used as immersion cooling machines at that time when they reported it. So that's kind of what I figured there. Okay. Overall, I think this is a good move. It definitely helps them out, and it obviously helps them lower their joules per terahash once they are fully installed here, and that would get us to the 40.8 exahash, which is what they're reporting here as well. Look at the chart, 40.8. Yep, that's what we got them at right now. So that all works out there. All right, so this is all good news here, I think. Let me know what you guys think. And then obviously we have some other news we have to talk about here and Riot as well. But we'll try to get these out when they report of getting the newer miners in, and that probably won't be until, like they said, probably maybe June, July, sometime when those get swapped out, maybe even faster than that, but we'll see. So we'll get those taken out and obviously get the efficiencies up for them as well. All right, the other news stories that we have here is they reported yesterday through an SEC filing. They didn't report this on any place else, but they reported a Form 8K current report pursuant to Section 13 or 15D of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. Basically, what it states in there is that they had the ATM. I believe this was the ATM. This was the prospectus supplement from 2023. This was, I believe, in August that they filed it. Yeah, August 9th, 2023. We filed a prospectus supplement, the 2023 prospectus supplement with the SEC related to the registration statement to register shares of common stock having an aggregate offering price of up to $750 million. As of February 26th, so this was yesterday, right? Yep, yesterday. Shares of common stock having an aggregate offering price of up to $700 million has been sold under the 2023 prospectus supplement. In connection with the offering, the prior offering pursuant to the 2023 prospectus supplement is terminated as of February 26, 2024, and additional shares of common stock will be offered or sold under the sales agreement pursuant to the 2023 prospectus. So yeah, no additional shares will be sold. So basically, they're done with the ATM. It would have been nice for them to come out and say, hey, we're fully funded to reach 31 exahash or the 40 exahash they're supposed to get to. I think that would have been a huge boom to the stock price potentially. We've seen it with other companies that have reported, getting fully funded to reach a certain amount. And I'm surprised that they didn't do that. They didn't take advantage of it. I think they should have, because I think that would have been good news, obviously. But they definitely pulled a lot here in the last. Well, you look at August, basically in the last 6 months, they pulled a lot. 700 million here in dilution, basically, for their growth here. So that's obviously a lot. So you can have to weigh the two sides of it, okay? But overall, this is good news. There was some confusion on Twitter about this and also in my Patreon group. People were thinking that they were basically having a new 750 million shelf offering, which is not the case. They are getting rid of that one as it is. They pretty much used it up, okay? So that's it for that one. Next here, there might be some confusion also on this, I think. Where is it? Okay, so this is obviously on Riot platforms. This is the insider trading here, or insider, what is it called? Ownership disclosures. So they had a couple filings here in the last couple of days. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you look at it, it kind of sounds like they sold common stock, but they didn't sell, it looks like. And we got some clarification here from them. So based on this, we had Alexis Brock from Riot. He reached out to me and he provided this information. So executives at Riot Platforms, and this is a quote from him from the email, executives at Riot Platforms filed disclosures yesterday regarding the forfeiture of unvested shares of restricted stock originally granted under the 2021 performance plan. To be clear, these were not sales. These were shares remained unvested unless specific performance metrics were met over the 3-year period. Since these goals were not fully met and the performance period has now ended, the associated shares have been forfeited automatically to the company, not sold. There were also disclosures relating to the forfeiture of shares for the purpose of tax withholding, which were also not sales. Okay, so that's just a clarification there. Some of the stuff can be kind of confusing as far as what's going on with those. I get confused sometimes as well until you maybe find, sometimes they have like notes in there that state what they were for. Yeah, I mean, they do have notes in here, so you kind of have to look at those notes as well, see what's going on there. Why were they actually sold or given back or whatever the case might be. Okay, so I think this is actually pretty good. I mean, it's bad, obviously, for the executive team here at Riot that they couldn't meet the goals that they wanted to meet. And, it's good for shareholders because they didn't meet those goals, so the stock go back to the company there. Okay, so eventually, I'm sure they're going to get more stock options and things like that to reach certain goals. And if they can reach those goals, obviously they get rewarded for it, which we see that across the board with everybody here in the industry pretty much getting those. Okay, as long as they meet those goals. So that is it. I think we've covered pretty much everything here that I want to discuss on it. I don't think we've missed anything else. If there's anything else that I missed, let me know. Obviously in the comments down below. We'll try and obviously tackle it the next day. But as always, let me see where we're here. As always, this is my little one-time sales pitch here for anybody that's interested, is Patreon members get access to all my spreadsheets. You guys have all the data that I have on these, and I update these pretty much every day for the most part. So we're always looking at the most up-to-date data. And then that's still $8 a month. And you also have the access to the Discord channel, which is private for us. And we have a lot of great communications there, a lot of great strategies, a lot of things going on there as well. So I think for $8 a month, that's definitely a value because you're getting hundreds of thousands of data points that I have on all of these miners. And there's got to be at least probably, 30 some odd, 40 sheets in here that you can look at, see all the different metrics that we cover and everything else. So that's all part of it. Okay, so that's my sales pitch. That's the only thing. As you guys know, I don't do any paid sponsorships or any, well, I do video ads on here, but that's through YouTube. And then the only way I get support is by the Patreon members. So again, thank you to all the Patreon members and to the YouTube members as well. But we'll leave it at that and we'll see what happens later on this week. Let me see here. I'm going to go here. So we'll see what happens obviously tomorrow. We'll see if Bitcoin continues to go up or if it's going to go down. We'll see how the miners react. If Bitcoin does go up, I would at least think that the miners would actually go up tomorrow if Bitcoin does go up some more. Today was kind of a weird day. Today, I don't know if it was profit taking because we've had a nice day on Monday where miners were up over 20%, or double digits for a lot of them as well. So we'll see how that all plays out. Okay. But that is it. It's been a fun week. It's been an exciting week. We'll see if we can break 69,000 before the halving event. If that's the case, I think at that point we might be getting close to maybe 300,000 by the time this whole bull run is over because we've never done that before. So it'll be interesting. All right. That's it. Thank you so much for coming in. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one.